what's going on in the thinking, in the group. I mean, I'm betting on them. I want them to do well, and I want to see that brand, get back into top contention.
Yes, Eddie's already asked the question, but guys, if you want to ask a question, feel free to. If you want to help support the show, super chat always helps, and your question will definitely get answered. But yes, if you're watching on whatever channel it is, whether it's 12sporttv.com or 4horsemanetwork.com, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and get the word out about the show and everything like that. So we've got some interesting topics to cover today, I think. I wanted to start with this one, Magnum. We talked a little off air about it, but TNA, they obviously, Tessa Blanchard's a big part of that company. And somebody else that was a big part of that company was Gail Kim. She's no longer there. They let her go. And, she, I believe she just released an announcement expressing her thoughts on the matter. But I wanted to get your thoughts. Gail has been an imperative part of TNA for years on end. Even during COVID, I interviewed her and all that stuff. And like, you think about the Knockouts division, that was the premier women's division in all pro wrestling. And like, I don't think you could have that without somebody like Gail Kim there. But I wanted your thoughts about your interaction with her, what you think of Gail, and the aftermath of all this.
Well, to me, having Gail represent TNA was such a value add to that organization. I don't care whether she was helping produce or just there for morale or having coffee with the crew. Having a legend of her caliber and the innovator that she was throughout her career, it was just, it was a great big plus to have her there, representing the company. So yeah, I'm very, really a little dismayed to see her gone. I mean, the only other woman that comes to mind is who's had that kind of impact on the industry to me is Medusa, and friends with both of them, and I just I'm curious, what's going on in the thinking, in the group. I mean, I'm betting on them. I want them to do well, and I want to see that brand, get back into top contention, because they have inevitably over the years, though not having the eyes on that some would like, have produced some really good product, and bell time to bell time, has been good, and the interjection of the folks that have come over from the WWE and the association with the network, you think that would be just a bridge to continue to grow, maybe try to get on a better network to have more visibility with fan base and all those things, and in doing so, again, having somebody like Gail, who's still, looks like $1 million, looks like she could still go in there in the ring and go if she wanted to, as part of your company, just doesn't make sense to me. So, maybe more will get enlightened, but I'm just really scratching my head about it, kind of like the rest of the world.
It's it's a very much a head scratcher, considering, her tenure there, what she clearly contributed to that company and elevating that women's division. And then on top of it too, it's her legacy is just something like she is a TNA figurehead, big time. Like I think I would put her on the Mount Rushmore of TNA, to be honest. Like I really would, because you think of what the Knockouts division was, and she epitomized that. People are too speculating that this could be indications of maybe like TNA making way for a sale to WWE or TKO. Picking up the company. I don't know if that's in the cards for it or anything like that, but I don't know. If that was the case, I mean, I would keep Gail Kim around for that, because who else is not more knowledgeable than her, I would say.
I'm going to flip the script on that.
Okay.
So as far as there's no value add for the WWE to purchase anything. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean they are the marquee brand. They've got the greatest talent on the planet working for them. They got the best developmental system. It could possibly be going, and TNA is a nice place to slide some of their other people in and out in an interesting, way to kind of blur the lines and create some new storylines. But there wouldn't be a whole lot of logic into why that they would want to no bigger than they are. If they would have to have some great big footprint that would expand something of the WWE's universe, in my opinion, to make that a palatable idea. And you know, I mean, if Vince was still in the game and knowing he was not a Gail Kim fan, then I would buy into some maybe the conspiracy theories about all that. But the WWE is on a level all their own today, and there's nobody even in a close second. So the way they're playing the hand right now to me is where it would make most sense for them. I don't see them having to come off the hip with money for something like that.
Well, I think that's a great point too. Like if WWE bought TNA outright, it kind of diffuses the allure of, hey, this crossover brand is coming in here. You now that you own it, it doesn't pack as much as a punch. I think of like, oh, they're going outside of their realm here, which is what's kind of been neat about this whole WWE willing to work with so many different independent promotions and the TNA and this. So it's just like, I don't know. It does seem like it would be the only thing that I would want to that I would think that would be a big incentive for them is that library that TNA possesses. With all the current talent that they have from TNA on their current roster and stuff like that. So maybe that kind of acquisition would make sense. But I
Well,
don't.
you don't have to acquire the company to do that. You can make a deal and because I'm sure they've got things planned for the Netflix brand that way beyond anything us mere mortals or can fathom. And they'd be silly if they didn't. I mean, that's just such a great platform. I mean, I I've become I've become so engulfed in these these platforms and seeing programming that you don't see on regular television, like Reacher, for instance.
Right.
And some of these series and things. So Netflix is huge future bonanza and all the things that they can create and do and whatnot. But again, as good as the library is, and there's some great stuff on there. It's no greater than the WCW library or the Jim Crockett library or the
Or
Florida Championship Wrestling library. I mean, it's another
DWA.
library.
Hmm.
Make it available. But most people sit down with their laptop, googling and going through going through their computer can watch nicks and pieces of whatever they want to go do, and their nostalgia is big. We still want fresh things. I think they struggle more with fresh ideas today than trying to rehash things from the past. So
It's true too, and the other thing too is like the DVD era is kind of over. Like I was big into getting certain wrestling DVDs. Oh, I need to get Scott Hall's DVD. I need to get the Dusty Rhodes DVD collection, and I still kind of like having the physical hard copies of things. But in the grand scheme of it all, people are not really seeking that out as much as they used to. So it might limit the intrigue of something, making it that bigger of a property too. I think that's a fair argument.
well, we're all spoiled. I mean, there was a time when that's the only way you could relive those memories,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
this thing here has changed the entire world.
Yes.
There's and we have bigger versions of it. We have tablets and we have little things we can plug into our smart televisions to enable us to surf the net and see it on the big screen. And it's a different era. And those things that were once intriguing because they were unobtainium almost. Now we're like, you imagine it, you can find it, you can see it, you can say, well, well, that was good, but maybe it wasn't quite as majestic as I remember it. You
It
know,
can happen.
you know. Well, no, and to that point, so it really is. Mick Foley told me one time that if you have one pinnacle something in your career that people can like remember over time and keep going back and revisiting, to have one of those is like a big deal, because there's people that have had long 10, 20 year careers and never had some big thing that just kind of stood out. And even those big things, even Mick coming off the top of the cage, or me trying to gouge Tully's eye out with a stick in the I Quit match, or all those things that are still kind of those milestone things. They're still just a click of your phone, relive it. Okay, did that. Move on to the next thing, and you can do it. Just like that.
Exactly, just like that too. No, it's a great point though that Mick makes. It's just like, yeah, people, wrestlers in their careers, you hope for like a certain thing that your memory you have a people memory people keep memory for you, they commemorate you for. And it's just like, to get that, it seems like, yeah, it has to somewhat happen organically, obviously. And you need a promotion machine behind you in certain ways too to also make it happen in a lot of ways. But those moments are really what can make some stars too at the same time.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Guys, if you have some questions, I'm already starring a few of them. We got some good ones cooking already from people, and I'm making sure to star them for the end of the show or once it fits in here. So if you guys got some questions, feel free to enter them. Use the super chat, help us out. Like I said, get to the front of the line, and help support the show. What else was I gonna? Oh yeah, just the aspect too of you think about it. Okay, Gail Kim is gone. And then we talked about him off air too. Scott D'Amore is gone. Two people that are really tied to TNA, really tied to that brand, and we're really passionate about that brand. So it is like a head scratcher. Man, what is going on? Like, why do they decide to make these kind of pivots and make this change when it seems like the course that they were on seemed like the right path? And you kind of hope for the best, but it is like, Scott D'Amore has moved on to do his Maple Leaf Wrestling again, revitalize that. So that's pretty neat to see. But you just want to see those creative minds be put in the right positions in the mainstream aspect of pro wrestling too at the same time. So
Yep.
makes it tough.